Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome to another video. Whoop whoop! Icebreaker, whoop whoop! I read Icebreaker. It took a while, but I finally got to it. I'm not sure where to start with this one, because sadly, I read yet another romance book that sucked. I'm anti-romance books at this point. Just the amount of romance books I've read, 3, they were all bad. And I don't know how many more I have to read until finally I read a good one. You know, and it's so sad because I enjoy romance movies. I enjoy rom-coms. I like watching them. I think they're sweet. I love Rosie. But when I read romance books, I always just want to, die. So, Icebreaker, you made me read it. My members made me read it. And I'm a little bit mad about it. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. In the sense of it wasn't a boring bad book. It was boring, but it was also just a funny bad book. To a point where you're reading it and you're honestly so in disbelief that you're just laughing the whole time at the lines the author is seriously writing. And she means them seriously because she wrote them in her book and published it. And it's just kind of like the disbelief sets in of what you're reading. And then you can kind of enjoy it because you're like, okay. No, actually, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I rated it 1 star on Goodreads. My Goodreads is honestly Sophie. If you're new here, I'm actually the... You know what? I'm actually the girl that said Xaden wears... Or his name is Xaden. Xaden wears skinny jeans about the 4th Wing. That was my 4th Wing review. And guys, I haven't talked about it in a while, but I get so many likes on that review. I'm kind of like trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my Iron Wing review and my YouTube review also so people know who I am. Because I got 1,317 likes on my 4th Wing review on Goodreads. So insane, and people still like it and still commented. And then the last comment I got was, "You will go down in history for this. I love you. Love you too. Subscribe to me if you really love me." I'm basically Goodreads famous at this point, and Booktok famous, but and Bookstagram famous, but they just never tag my name. So just to tell everyone, I just kind of wanted to impress you guys with my Goodreads fame. I hope it worked, you know? I hope you're impressed. So my review for Icebreaker was, I'll tell you, I gave it 1 star, of course. And my review was, after finishing this, I understand why the author doesn't show her face online, in brackets, embarrassment for the monster she's created. And Lily commented, "I can't wait for your video on this." Hey, Lily. Shout out. On the topics of shout outs, before we talk about the author and then about the book, I want to give a shout out to my members, my book haters, love you. My members get early access to my videos, multiple, all of them, a day early. They also get a shout out and they get to vote on my next reads, which is why I read this. They also get exclusive content such as my Ruby Red movie commentary that I did a couple years ago. So if those are benefits that you would be interested in, you can consider joining the Book Hater Club. Officially, because my podcast is also the Book Hater Club, but you know, if you want to be an official member. My members are Haley B, Ashley Ranger B, Mrs. Preminger, Trinity ELW, Clara S, Kushimita, Deja, Book Banshee, and Queen Sif. Love you guys. So let's talk about the author, because I think that she is very interesting and it's something I've never come across. Her name is Hannah Grace, allegedly. The thing is, as I mentioned in my review, she does not show her face online. So is her, you never really know if it's people's real names, but with American authors, I always try to do the research, and I can usually confirm where they live, how old they are, you know? And because my thing is, I always want to know how old the people are that I talk about, because it's just kind of, in that way, you can judge the book in like a different nuance, because you know a little bit about the age group and how they behave. So I googled her, just Hannah Grace author, and the first things that came up were she's from the UK, she's from Manchester more specifically, so she's not even American, writing a hockey romance about American college in, I don't even know where they are, Maple Hills. Where the fuck is that? Does that exist in real life? I don't know. And she is allegedly, according to my Google search, it pops right up, 36. She doesn't show her face online, she doesn't show it on Instagram or anywhere. She has like a vlog somewhere I saw from her husband, but he doesn't show his face either. It's just him shopping for Icebreaker. And it's like, just, I don't really know, it's kind of weird. Also, her website doesn't work, which is something I've now encountered twice, which is like, it wouldn't be that weird, but the thing is it happened twice, so it's kind of weird. Her website is under construction, and the same thing happened to me when I was like trying to look at Stephanie Garber's website. Her website is also under construction. I don't really know why it's taking so long. It's just a fucking website. Icebreaker came out this year in January, and her second book actually came out this year in October, so just recently. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I don't know how people like it. It is kind of like a spin-off off of the original series, because there is a hockey team in that book, and she introduces all of those bitches that are on the hockey team to you excessively, so she can write a book about each of them. So this is a book about one of the hockey players in the team. It has 4 stars on Goodreads, and I gave it 1 star. And I also think I have pink eye. Just the inside of my eye is a little swollen. I don't really know who farted on my pillow, but you know, maybe my cat. And that's all the basic information I have for you. I don't fuck with this book. I think that it was self-published first, because I read the acknowledgements, and she mentioned that she had a great support system of friends that made her follow through with self-publishing. And she's really happy that they did. I think now she's traditionally published by Simon & Schuster, UK. Fuck you, Simon. And also Schuster. I don't know if they're 2 different people, or if his name's Simon Schuster. Somebody tell me. Simon? Are you watching? That being said, let's not drag the intro on for so long like I usually do. Let's try to make this short and sweet. I don't have more information on her. I don't know if she's 36 or not. So, you know, I don't even have her face. I don't know. But I've never had like an author where I didn't know what they looked like. I've never encountered an author that didn't show their face online from the books I've read, I think. I don't know if there's another really popular author where nobody knows what they look like. I mean, she's not that popular. She's just popular on Booktok. But Booktok keeps lying to you guys. You need to stop trusting them. Peace and love. And I'll tell you about it here, right now, right here, today, on this Sunday afternoon. Or just noon. It's not after yet. It's still in the noon. We have our main cast. We have the woman. Her name is Anastasia Allen. AA is usually not recommended. You're not supposed to name your characters similar names that start with the same letter, and also not the first and last name, because it's just harder for readers to remember. I always mention this because she is a figure skater, and she's a partner skater, or duo, I don't know what they're called, and she has a partner. His name is Aaron. So it's a little bit, you get a little bit mushed. Anastasia, Aaron, it's a little bit wishy-washy in your head. She's a figure skater at college, and the love interest is a dude who's a hockey player at the same college. His name is Nathan, or Nate for short. America! Oh yeah, guys, you know what I also said? I did a reading vlog on this. This was my last video, and I mentioned that and I don't know how many people watch it or if you watch it to the end, but I think that since we don't really know anything about the author, I don't know if she, when she was younger, went to college in the US, how many times she's been to the US, how much she really knows about the US, because a little quirky fact, you know, they always put quirky facts about authors in the how do you say, the section where they talk about themselves, about the author. She mentions that she would text a friend, what is it like in America? Like, what is this like in America? What is this like? Because she just didn't know, because she's not American. Her husband apparently is also not American. So for me, or to me, this book genuinely just felt like she was fetishizing Americans. I don't think that's usually something that happens to Americans, but by the way she was writing and just how this book played out, it truly just felt like she had this, it was like a self-insert if she were a figure skater at an American college. That's what it felt like a fan fiction about herself in a different world where she would be a figure skater and really successful, because maybe she dreamed of being a figure skater when she was younger, or maybe she was either, but she was never successful, like the main character in this book, who goes on to win Olympic gold. So that tells you enough. It's truly like the American dream, you know what I mean? And just writing college out of a perspective where she didn't even want to write about college, because the characters never do any exams, they never do any studying. It's mentioned offhandedly like 2 or 3 times that they have to study. The dude never studies for anything. The girl sometimes. All they do is party and fuck. And I think that's kind of like what she wish she had done. Like, it just feels like projecting to me, the book. And I don't know anything about the author. This is just me speculating, but that's what it came across as. I don't even remember what happened in the beginning of the book. Anastasia is 21. All of them are 21. Her and her boyfriend are not boyfriend yet, because we're at the beginning of the story. Just to put it into perspective for you guys, how old they are when I read all of this to you. I don't really remember why I marked this. She says, freshman, yeah, I gained the freshman 15. Well, it was more like the freshman 5, but Erin said, her skating partner, I was getting too heavy to lift, so I haven't put on an ounce since. Anastasia has a little bit of an issue with eating, and she has an eating disorder because of her partner, because he keeps saying, "You're too heavy for me to lift above my head when we're skating." And so he made a meal plan for her, which is her just under eating. And she realizes this later on. It was another thing where it was like, okay, she knows that figure skaters have to watch their physique, so she's gonna put in that the main character has an eating disorder. But it wasn't really dealt with appropriately or properly, in my opinion, because she just kind of gets over it after her boyfriend says, "You're under eating," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I am." And then she's just over it, you know? But it's really funny because I know a bunch of people who did an exchange year in the US when I was in high school, and her talking about the freshman 15, it just made me think of the fact that all of them got fat when they went to America, and then they came back and then they got skinny again. Because your food is just that ass. Peace and love. He's not lying about the sleeping and eating thing. Every minute of my life is meticulously scheduled in my trusty planner, which my friends find equal parts hilarious and ridiculous. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a control freak, but I'm a woman who needs to be in control. There's definitely a difference. She has a disorder. Anxiety, to be specific. She just puts everything in her planner because it makes her feel more in control. And it's like a big part about the book, but not that big, because she just kind of... you know what the thing is? She gets her boyfriend, the hockey player, and then all of these things just kind of go away. Like, in the beginning, she still cares about her eating and about her planner. As the book goes on, it just kind of proves that good dick and good sex will make you forget everything about your disorders. Like your eating disorder or your anxiety. You just need a good dick in your life. Don't worry, guys. Oh my god, I'm being really honest when I say I don't remember taking these notes from the beginning, because I just feel like I kept spiraling while reading this book, and I literally wrote down, immediately first chapter, the tone is set. This is a sex book for a woman who didn't go to American college. Also, her skating partner, his name is Aaron, as I mentioned, and he's the bitch in this book. And Anastasia goes to extensive therapy, and she has been going all her life. She's adopted. She felt like... she just had to go to therapy, whatever, therapy is a good thing. And still she doesn't realize how abusive and just abusive, honestly, her skating partner is. She's like, "Oh no, but he's a good guy inside, he has his good parts, like we laugh every now and then." It's like, you go to therapy so much and you talk with your therapist about everything. We see one whole therapy session and you don't realize that this man is literally mentally abusing you and verbally. And your therapist isn't either? As I said, most of the book is just partying and drinking and having sex. So that's what we'll be talking about for most of the time, because there is not really a plot, per se. Like, we have Anastasia and Aaron, and she is trying to realize that he's being abusive towards her. And then we have her getting to know Nathan, who she doesn't want to commit to because she's not into commitment and she doesn't want a boyfriend. She just wants to have a... loose relationship because she wants to become an Olympic gold medalist, which she does come to be later. What am I saying today? I feel like my sentences aren't coming out correctly. I'm sorry. She wants to become a gold medalist, and she does become one, but she makes it clear time and time again, or at least she says time and time again, that she wants to do everything it takes to get to that point, and she doesn't want to jeopardize it by being in a committed relationship because she just does not have time for that. But then again, all she does is fuck. She's not really doing much to get to being a gold medalist. She doesn't even land her fucking jump, whatever the fuck that is. I do have to say, honestly, for a while I wanted to start figure skating because, of course, you can take a little guess if I show you... Oh my god, why are all of my stickers... whatever. But if I show you these, you can see, or look at my posters, I watch anime. Guess why I wanted to start figure skating? I don't even want to say it. Yuri on Ice. Can you feel my heartbeat? Tired of feeling like never enough. I was obsessed with Yuri on Ice. I watched it as it aired. That's like a little detour. I don't know if anyone who's watching this right now watched it. Let me know. But what the fuck happened with that? Because they announced that they were going to do a Yuri on Ice movie like right after the first season finished. And I watched that when I was like 15. I was 15 when that aired. 8 years ago. And the movie never happened. What's up with that? I was obsessed with Yurio, which is not the main character Yuri, but the other Yuri that's in there. Because he was also, when I was watching it, I was 15 and he was also 15. I was like, oh my god. 15-year-olds unite. But that's why I wanted to start figure skating. I never did though, because I was fat. Nathan, we have his perspective too. We switch between Nathan and Anastasia, and me reading this book, genuinely, like, you know, I don't have, well, maybe you don't, I don't have any credentials to be doing these videos. Like, I don't have a degree in English or anything. I just read and I rant, you know, I'm just angry a lot. And so I was reading this, and I think this book would have been so much better if we had not gotten Nathan's perspective, because you could have made it so much more interesting. The plot that she was trying to follow through at one point, and I'll talk about it more when it comes up, it would have made so much more sense if we only got Anastasia's POV and not Nathan's. And also, they think the same way. There's not really much distinguishing going on between the two, because they are just we're in their heads and they think the same. So, like, yeah. That's it. Period. This is chapter 2, Nathan's perspective. There's a hand near my dick that isn't mine. She's fast asleep, snoring loudly with her hand wrapped around my waist and tucked into the band of my boxers. I gently untuck and examine it. Long fake nails, Cartier rings, and a Rolex strapped to her slender wrist. Who the fuck is this? We wake up in chapter 2, and this is the only time he fucks anyone else, and we don't even see the sex. It's just them waking up after partying and having had sex. We wake up with Nathan with a girl next to him. It's like a girl he swore to never get entangled with because she's like a bitch or something. But she did have sex with him. They did have sex with each other, quite frankly. He's supposed to be a very stereotypical fuckboy hockey player. He never does any fuckboy antics past this chapter. They talk about it, him like being fucking around, fucking the whole campus. And then we don't see any of it. He just straight on starts eating out Anastasia in his room, so... Don't worry. They meet because there are 2 ice rinks, one for the hockey team and one for the ice skating team, which I feel like maintaining an ice rink is super fucking expensive. So, what the fuck is this university that they can afford this? Because I feel like, I know Americans pay a lot of student loan debt, but I feel like most of that is laundered, so... Girl. Someone destroyed the hockey rink for the ice hockey team, and so they have a meeting, all of them together, being told, hey, you're going to have to share a rink until that is repaired. The coaches are super angry. There's never any repercussion for the dude who did it. I don't really care about it. He got like a girl pregnant, and then she had a boyfriend. Well, she didn't get pregnant from him, but they did fuck, and then she was pregnant by someone else even, and, you know, whatever. We literally don't care. She gives us a backstory, and it's like the topic for the first 3 chapters, and then we don't talk about it again. I feel like the rink sharing thing is not that big of an issue. Then again, I've never been into a skating sport, so I don't know how big of an issue it is. It doesn't seem to be one later on, you know what I mean? But they make it out to be a huge problem. So this is where Anastasia and Nathan meet for the first time, and he tells her, hey, come to my party tonight so you'll feel better. And she's like, fuck you, bitch. And then she comes to the party later, and the writing at the party and throughout the whole book is so bad. You just don't know who's who, because Nathan and Anastasia also just sound the same in their POVs when there's a party going on with a lot of people at once. And by a lot of people, I mean the side cast is like another 5, 6, 7 characters, and they're all in a room together interacting. You just don't know who's who, because she also doesn't do any like differentiating a lot of the times. When there's dialogue, she just writes dialogue, it ends from one person and she starts the next one. There's no like, he says and she smiles, you know what I mean? It's just dialogue, and it's like, we can tell you self-published this, girly. As I said, Anastasia goes to therapy. We have this amazing line. I doubt Dr. Andrews, my long-suffering therapist, would be impressed with me right now. Communication is king? King? Why is it king? Why is it not queen? I thought it was key. Why are we talking about royalty? There's dialogue on dialogue and nothing in between. As I just said, there's nothing happening there at the party. Nathan is kind of like, oh, I kind of want to be with her because she's hot. And also because she doesn't want me right away, because she's mad about the ring. She does not want him for all of like 2 chapters until they start fucking peace and love. That's what it felt like. It's not like she was being very cold to him at all. She just kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, he's like, she's this cold bitch who has no interest in me, that makes her so much harder to me because I'm a man and I have needs. And then they just get with one another, and it's like, I don't really know where this talk is coming from. He looks like the type of guy you could get into heaps of trouble with, but in a good way. What kind of trouble is good? The reason this was called Icebreaker, by the way, is because the ice broke, first of all, and because the reason they kind of start to get to know each other is because the two coaches, the skating coach and the hockey coach, they say, for you guys to be able to share a rink, you have to do a session of icebreakers. So the skating team sits down and the hockey team sits down and they do like speed dating where they're talking to each other, or like all of them for 2 minutes, and then the next person comes up. And the last person, of course, to come to her is Nathan, and he says, can we just start over? And I don't really know why she was mad in the first place. Like, it's not his fucking fault. He's the captain, of course, but like at the end of the day, it's not that deep because they figure everything out. And he's like, can we start over? Hey, I'm Nathan. And she's like, okay, we can start over. I'm Anastasia. That's why it's called Icebreaker, because they start their relationship because of these icebreakers. We, of course, get some talk about science, because zodiac signs have to be prevalent in every single romance book that I read for some reason, also by people who don't know anything about zodiac signs, it seems like, and seem to just be putting it in because they know that people like that shit. So we do get one character, and I don't even know who it is, who says, I'm a Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. This is a side character that we do not care about. His name is JJ, and he is Indian, I think. So there's gonna be a book about him soon, I'm sure. She's already announced 3 in this Maple Hills saga. And JJ, you know, don't worry, guys. He's gonna come. There's a lot of talk about what Anastasia or Nathan is, but we never get it shown on page. So the first time I noticed this was right here. I sit and listen to her, nodding and laughing, freaking mesmerized at her confidence and her commitment, how she views things and explains them. When she's done, even she looks like she doesn't know where that came from. Did you notice the issue there? Did you notice? How she views things and explains them when she's done. So we don't even get to know. We don't even get to know how she views things and how she explains them. We don't even know what they're talking about, what the fucking topic is. And that happens a lot in this book, where they will say about one or the other, oh, he does this and this, she does this and this, she explains things like this, I like this about her, and we never fucking get to see it on page. And so I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give a fuck about them. I hope they die in the next book. They have a child, I don't think. I spoiled it. So after this, after she sits at the desk and explains things to him that we don't get to know because they're private, they start fucking. And of course we have... I have my notes here. The things that I marked, as you can see. And I was going to talk about this. And I just see this. I fucking hate that. They talk about G-spots a lot. And all of this just like in the first half of the book. And then they don't really talk about it again. But they talk about G-spots a lot. And I've never really read a romance book or a like adult fantasy where they have a lot of sex, where they talk about G-spots so much. I don't know what her obsession is with that. He says, you sure? She says, do you have a pen and paper for me to draw you a map? And he says, I don't joke about consent, Anastasia, because of course he's our consent king, but he did have drunk sex with that one girl in the beginning and he doesn't remember it. So did he get her consent then? We don't know. And of course what I had marked was my faults, because I don't understand why I still have to read romance books where they talk about pussy lips as faults. What the fuck? And it's not the only time this happens. I only marked it the first time it happened. It happens continuously. Ugh, I just don't like that. He just eats her out against the door in his room after she peed. And it makes me wonder if she used wet wipes or dry toilet paper to wipe. If she just got off the toilet, you know? This is the first time they get together, then they kind of ignore each other for a little bit. What happens next is she gets injured because her partner... No, she tries a jump and she doesn't land it and she falls and she really badly hurts herself, like something, and she has a cut on her head. And thankfully Nathan studies sports medicine, which we never get to see any of, as I mentioned before. And because of this, he of course knows how to treat her. He examines her head like he's got a clue what he's looking... Oh, wait. Never mind. He's taking care of her, but the skating partner comes up next to them and he does not like Nathan at all. They have beef. The reason for this is unbeknownst to me, and because in the beginning Anastasia does have a fuck buddy who's a basketball player, and I personally would stick with the basketball players. I just feel like there's more potential there, but anyway. He just really doesn't like Nate. He hates Nate, to be specific. He despises him. And so Nate comes up and is like, okay, I'll take care of you. And then the skating partner also comes up, and so Nathan says he examines her head like he's got a clue what he's looking at. Dick. I think he studies history or something. What the fuck is that? What? Sorry? Do we have beef with the history majors now? Uh-huh. Nathan really doesn't like him either because he sees that Aaron is treating Anastasia like shit and being abusive towards her mentally, not physically, but verbally. I don't even know what I'm saying. And so he has beef with Aaron too. They have beef with one another. He believes that that Aaron can't take care of her because he studies history. Because if you're a figure skater who studies history, you don't know anything about injuries. You don't know how to take care of a cut. You don't need to study sports medicine, King, for that. I'm sorry. They also call each other frenemies. Literally for no reason, because they never fought, guys. I'm being so serious when I say that the fight that they had was her being mad about a joke he made because they have to share a rink when they first met. That's like the enemies that they are, you know what I mean? It's like not that deep. They're calling each other frenemies literally while fucking in the back of an Uber after a party. I'm incredibly close to taking matters into my own hands, although I'm unsure where masturbating in his lab would put us on the frenemies ship scale. The only frenemies that I know is the podcast. Bring it back. The fact that this woman is allegedly 36 years old kind of proves itself when you go to the next page. So literally frenemy marked and then spinny spin. We go to the next page and it says, drunkenness aside, Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer came on the radio and Chris turned it to full volume. Having sex in the back of an Uber with all your friends in there to Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer is honestly something that I would never tell anyone. Because I would be so embarrassed to be fucking to Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. Also, I don't know who Chris is. I don't remember that man. And everyone's always talking about the fact that she smells like sex, and honestly, that's something I've never encountered until this book. It's like, is it really that prevalent? They don't have sex at night. They don't fuck in the Uber. He just fingers her in the Uber. And when they get home, he refuses to have sex with her because she's drunk. And he's like, I'm not going to take advantage of you drunk because we need that one line, of course. And up to this point, genuinely, there's nothing going on. Like, this, it's just sex scene to the next sex scene to the next sex scene. So I'm just telling you about them. His thrusts get harder. Oh, yeah, they're actually fucking... No. What are they doing? Oh no, she's just giving him head. His thrusts get harder and sloppy, telling me how close he is, and when I cup his balls gently with my free hand, he's a goner. Just the balls, they always do it. I think that they have sex properly. His cock is like ginormous, unbelievably big, whereas the small dick representation is what I wrote down, yeah. His cock is like unbelievably big to a point where she wasn't sure if she could give him, of course, a blowjob because it's just so big and it doesn't fit. And it also doesn't fit inside of her because she's so small and she's a figure skater. I think at this point, I'm on page 140 maybe, and they have full on sex, so it didn't take them that long. It was not like an enemies to lovers, like they're trying to sell it to me. Frenemies, She starts doing a full gymnastic routine on him by the point that they're having sex. Like this, she asks, gently brushing her hair from her face. I nod, hands sinking into her hips, unable to formulate any actual words. Her hips swirl and grind down, and my breath catches in my throat. Or like this. Yeah, baby, just like that, I tell her. I know Stassi is flexible from watching her skate, so I don't know why I'm surprised when she stretches her legs out to each side, doing the splits. Or like this. She's doing the split on his dick. That seems so uncomfortable, I'm sorry. The thigh holding I can deal with. I can't deal with the patterns and the occasional squeeze. That shit is making my vagina scream. You understand now what I mean when I say that it makes me speechless. Also, I criticized the sentence structure, and I just want everyone to tell me if I'm right or wrong about this, but it says, in exchange for a hot chocolate with marshmallows, comma, yesterday Henry gave me a very detailed account. And I just feel like the yesterday should not come after a comma. You know, I don't know anything about English grammar. I'm not in high school anymore. I don't remember what the rules were, but I just feel like that doesn't flow. Again, we get this line, she has opinions and interests, and beneath her obsessively organized and competitive nature, she's a woman who just wants to do well. What are her opinions and what are her interests? Because I don't know any of them. Peace and love. I don't know any of them. This is why I feel like this is such a self-insert, because you could literally just make her have any interests and any opinions that fit to you, and then she's you, and then you can be her. And fuck a hot hockey man, player, whatever. Also, there's a side character called Henry. His book is gonna be the next, so not the one that just came out, but the one that's gonna come out next year. And he gets on my fucking nerves. He's a fan favorite from what I've read, and he gets on my fucking nerves! Have I said it before that he gets on my nerves? He does. He's supposed to be this sweet, innocent, I think he's like 19 years old, just fresh to college, doesn't have any friends. That's why he moved in with the hockey house, because everyone's rich, but he isn't really rich. And of course Nathan is also rich. Stassi is not rich. Anastasia's not rich. But Nathan is. Don't worry about it. He moves in with their house, and then everybody really loves him. He's really good with women. And Anastasia also really loves him. And he is just like a fucking toddler. He says random shit. And I don't know if I have an example coming up, but he will state like a child. He will state the very obvious. And where if you were a toddler and you said this to adults, they would laugh and be like, haha, you're so cute, but you're a grown man. Grow up. And it just didn't stop. It kept coming. The fucking lines from him kept coming. To a point where I was like, really? So then we're about 30 or 40% into the book. We get a little bit of a plot line, which isn't really a plot line. The fucking skating partner gets injured on Halloween, maybe. And they are all called into the office, and he says, it was Nate who hurt me. Then Nate is like, it wasn't me. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Nate says it wasn't me. I didn't have time to do this shit. But the skating dude, he blames him because he hates him, and it wasn't Nathan. But that's what I mean with, it would have been more interesting if we didn't have Nathan's perspective. Because if this was the plot you were trying to go with, it would have been much nicer, because we could have questioned his motives and questioned if he actually done it. Because he would tell Anastasia, I didn't do it, it wasn't me, he's lying. Anastasia doesn't know who to believe because her skating partner is telling her something different, and it would have been much more intriguing. But alas, we just have Nathan's perspective, and he tells us, I didn't fucking do it, and then there's no mystery behind it. He eventually does confess to the coach that it was him, because the coach threatens to bench the whole team if he does not confess, or if nobody confesses to doing it. And so Nathan is like, it was me, I'm sorry, don't bench the whole team, it was me. So you blame me. He's the captain, he has to take responsibility, you know? And then what happens is he's not allowed to skate anymore. And they tell him, as long as the skating partner, Aaron, is not able to skate because of his injuries, it's like his arm and his hip or something, you have to also stay on the bench and you're not allowed to play hockey anymore. That's the plot. Anastasia ignores Nathan for a while because she can't believe that he would do this, which he did not do it, but she doesn't know who to believe. And so they take like 2 weeks apart. And when he comes over to talk to her about what happened, he comes into the room and she's crying in the arms of the dude she used to fuck, the basketball dude. They're just friends now, but by the end of the book, that dude also completely disappears, which is just tells you there were too many characters, you know what I mean? But anyway, they do kind of make up at the end. Oh, actually, that's not how it goes. We literally don't get anything between what happened in those 2 weeks. We just skip the 2 weeks, and the skating partner competes in a competition that they need to qualify for nationals. You know, I don't know what that means, but they compete, and he actually drops her. And she gets injured a little bit, but most of all, she gets scared of being lifted on the ice because she fell really badly. And she then also injured her skating partner again because of this fall. And they still qualified for nationals, even though she was dropped and whatever. But that's when Nathan comes over to talk to her again, after that debacle of her crying in another man's arms. He comes over to talk to her again. I also think that it's so sad because in this vulnerable scene, and Nathan, in Nathan's perspective, I think also in Anastasia's, it's mentioned multiple times that it's so nice when they're together just sober. I find an issue with that because why is there such a focus on them being drunk all the time? I don't think that's what American college life is, being drunk all the time. It's like, oh, it's so nice to just hang out with her and we're both sober and we're both just cuddling and she's so sweet, and it's like, it just feels kind of icky. Because why are you getting drunk so much? She's being vulnerable there in the shower. This is what I was leading up to. He says, I will wash your hair. And then she says, okay, can I wash yours? And he says yes. But he has to lift her up because she can't reach his hair. And she's still hurt, and they just talked about everything that happened, but she's still hurt and she's still sad. This is not like a sexual moment at all. Lifting her as gently as I can, she winds her legs around my waist. I keep my hands under her to keep her supported. Well, it's actually to keep her away from my boner. My dick doesn't understand the naked, wet woman wrapped around us, giggling, doesn't want to sit on him. I don't like that. That was also my update at some point, because this is so icky. This is so... This woman just confessed to you everything that's been going on for the past 2 weeks where you didn't talk. She was dropped. She's traumatized. This was a traumatizing experience to her. And you are only thinking about fucking her? Men have needs, guys, you know. Men have needs. They need to fuck all the time. We get the necessary line about the main character being a reader that reads smut, of course. Don't give me that shit. I've seen what you have on your smutty bookshelf. We never see her read once in this book. So, okay. They're now kind of hanging out again. They're not officially together yet, but pretty much. Yeah, I've never done it without before, but don't feel pressured. Neither have I. Oh my fuck. You're sure? Please, we've waited long enough. And you can guess what they're talking about. They're talking about fucking without a condom. I don't believe him when he says he's never fucked without a condom. If he even gets a boner when this woman is telling you about traumatizing experience in the shower. So at this point they start raw dogging it, okay? She's still on birth control, but they don't use condoms anymore. Fast forward, there's another party. We have Aaron getting into a fist fight with the hockey dudes inside the hockey house. And Nathan comes and breaks up the fight, even though he really wanted to kill Aaron. And he told Anastasia to stay outside because they were outside at the bonfire. And he says, I was stopping the fight, which is why you should have stayed outside where I left you. And she says, you don't get to be mad at me right now. And he says, I do when you ignore me and put yourself in harm's way. Okay. There's a fight inside the house, and there's like a bunch of people watching the fight around you because it was a big party. I don't remember what kind of party it was, but it was a big party. And she had struggles, or she had issues even getting into the house because it was so crowded to see what was going on. And he's like, you could have gotten hurt. It's a fucking fist fight between two men. It's not that deep. We then find out why this fist fight happened. Let me just read it out to you. Aaron just slut-shamed her and called her broke. And said her parents didn't love her. So one of the hockey guys punched him in the face. I don't know why this was a revelation. We knew he was mean, so whatever. She then doesn't talk to Aaron for a while. She keeps her distance. It's also over Christmas and New Year's, which is why her and Aaron are going somewhere to like their families to meet the families, and so she's away from Aaron anyway. Then we just get a bunch of fucking dialogue upon dialogue, as I've mentioned before, and it's just her talking to Nathan about how much he loves her, but he doesn't say I love you. And my favorite was when he says, you make me want to be the best I can be. And she says, oh, ... Oh! Thank you for this amazing response. I'm flying through this now, guys, because if you can't notice, there's nothing going on in this book. Like, there's nothing in the back going on. Her preparing for nationals that she qualified for, forget about it. You know, Aaron is injured, he can't skate. And we don't really know, because she actually starts training with Nathan at some point to practice her jumps, which she was afraid of. And he's like, I'm a big guy, I play hockey, I can lift you. And they practice together, it's really sweet, whatever. I don't care. You know, I'm just telling you it's sweet, but it's a bare minimum. And it's not very clear whether they are going to be skating partners now, or if she's even going to compete in nationals. It's just... I don't know. I didn't know where the book was going at this point, and neither did the author, I think. She's curling her hair. Nathan analyzes the situations and says, turning off the hot stick thing. She slowly walks to the side of the bed. I think every man knows what a curling iron is, especially at 21, if you're a fuckboy, but anyway, that's just me. They meet with her family, blah blah blah. It's great. Everybody gets along. They go to his rich boy house because his parents, or his dad is rich. His dad actually cheated on his mom while she was sick, and now she's dead. Whatever, we don't like the dad, he's a bitch, he doesn't love his children. And they go to his house because they think he's not there over Christmas because he's gone with his little sister on the beach or whatever. And that's why they kind of do their, like, boyfriend-girlfriend thing at the house for a while. And then he goes out to get her Christmas present, and she goes out skating on the lake in the backyard and crashes into the lake and almost drowns. She almost dies. He has to do CPR. I don't know why he didn't tell her before that it wasn't safe, because they did skate on it together the day before or something. He could have just told her, don't go out, by the way. Because, I don't know, whatever. She's at the hospital, the nurse goes, protective, isn't he? And then Anastasia says, very, I'm not in agreement. It's because he cares though, so I don't mind. Why else would he be protective of you? Because he doesn't care? That doesn't make any sense, that line. Peace and love. They stay with the dad for a while because he does come home, surprisingly, and his little sister catches them almost fucking on the kitchen counter. And they stay with the dad. Anastasia gets to know the dad. It goes rather well. She tells him, your daughter can eat a burger if she wants. Because she used to have an eating disorder and now she doesn't anymore because Nathan told her that she's eating too little. This is so boring, guys. Like, this is literally just me recapping, like, someone's life on TikTok, I feel like. It's like someone telling their life story on TikTok. It's not even a book. They stay with the dad, then go home. She says she'll move in with her bitch partner again. Then her and Nathan have unnecessary fights about it. And then her skating partner calls her a fat ass. And then they don't skate together anymore. That's all. They have, like, a talk where they're like, let's try again. Let's go to therapy, to skating partner therapy. And try to be partners again. Whatever, guys. I don't care. He calls her fat and then they don't skate together. She's like, no, I'm gonna skate as single person, but not yet. No, they do compete together, yeah, but we're still getting to it. All the way down to his sweatpants. Gray, obviously, because Nathan Hawkins is a man who was most definitely written by a woman. Writing that in your own book about a man that you wrote is very narcissistic. No, I'm kidding, but it's very weird, not fitting, and also not true, because Nathan Hawkins is the bare minimum. So if he were written by a woman, he would be doing more than a bare minimum. Anyway. A Few Nights Apart has made me sloppy though, because when she calls her screeching phone a fuck nugget, I can't help but laugh. If my boyfriend called his phone a fuck nugget, I would break up with him. So, that's the book. We're over. We're at the end. The big revelation at the end, guys, before the epilogue, is that she goes to nationals. She competes with her partner. They say they want to have a strict professional relationship now. They skate together, and after it's over, everything was fine. After it's over and they're standing there like bowing, he kisses her on the lips. And he's like, I don't even know why you're freaking out right now. I just, like, that's what the people wanted. And she declares she will no longer be skating with him. She's going to join women's single skating and not partner skating anymore. Which I don't know how hard that is to go from partner to single skating. Or also how common that is. But she declares that that will be her life now. Everybody agrees. Everybody's happy. And then we get time jumps 2 years ahead. And that means they are 23 now. Keep that in mind. They graduated college. Or maybe they're 24, but they're like either 23 or 24. This is, of course, the best epilogue ever. I'll read it to you. I'm all bump and boobs. Gigantic boobs that make everyone stare at my chest. As declared in my reading vlog, I know how she feels, but I am not pregnant. I don't need to be pregnant to have big, humongous tits. Anyway, they stay together, they're 23. He won something, like a hockey thing, because he transferred to a team in Canada. I think it's called the Stanley Cup. And I only remember that because of the Stanley Cup that all the bitches drink out of. I don't know what that is, if that's like the national American, or not, because it's Canada, but the national Canadian Cup, maybe? And she wins gold medal in the Olympic figure skating, singles, women's, whatever. And that's the night she gets pregnant, because in the morning she was so nervous to go and skate that she vomited out her birth control, as she states herself. And then when she won, they celebrated by raw dogging, and that's how she got pregnant. And honestly, that is all your fault. Who am I to judge? No, who am I to blame besides yourself? If you know that your birth control is not going to be effective, if you vomit it out within 3 hours of taking it, then there's nobody that can help you, and you deserve that baby. Because she does mention time and time again, she doesn't really want the baby because she wants to skate. But now that she has Olympic gold, maybe she doesn't want to skate anymore because she reached everything that she wanted. She doesn't need anything more. And that's how the book ends. They get engaged in Cabo while she's pregnant. They have a golden retriever. Everything's happy. Everything's fine. And that's the end of the book. And now I'm sitting here looking at you. You're looking at me. And I'm going to ask you, do you remember anything I just told you? There was nothing going on in this book, guys. There was nothing going on in this book. Peace and love. The dude, at one point, he doesn't even confess. It just comes out, like the truth comes out that it wasn't Nathan who hurt him, when he blamed him, it was himself. No, it wasn't himself. They were playing on the beach and he got injured and then he just went ahead and blamed his partner's boyfriend. I'm so happy it's over. I genuinely do not want to see this book ever again. Wildfire I won't be reading, guys. I'm so sorry to everyone who liked this book. I forgot to give a disclaimer, but I think at this point it's pointless because nobody's watching anymore, so whatever. It's just so insane to me it got to this level of fame when there's genuinely nothing happening. I'm sure there's like great sports romance, hockey romance out there with proper representation of the equal sports, but we didn't get any of that in this book. None. That being said, thank you for watching. I don't remember anything that happened. I closed the book. I paid €5 for it, so make sure to watch the ads so I get my €5 back. My next review, of course, is going to be Iron Flame. Let me know if you want me to do a book mess special this year, where I vlog or make videos for the first 12 days of December. I've been thinking about it. I've been planning it out a little bit, so I just need your guys' confirmation that you're interested in that, and then I'll consider it. But I mentioned it in my last video, which is not even live yet. Oh my god. So crazy that I'm like filming ahead, you know, a little bit. That I'm so ahead of my game right now. I still have to edit this video. I still have to listen about me talking about this book one more time, and then I can completely get rid of it out of my brain. There wasn't a Brian in this book. That's really interesting. I think Brian is also a very American name. Anyway, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for watching this. Make sure to not read this book, but make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube, on my TikTok, and on Instagram, and on my Goodreads. And shout out to my members. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much to everyone watching, just supporting me, and maybe consider becoming a member if you want to see my videos a day early. I think that's the best benefit, because then you're just like in an exclusive club. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy. Peace and love, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.